As it happens, you may not have that problem much longer.
You're giving it up?
The zoo may be closing down. That's in strict confidence, mine.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Mr. Rundle, Mr. Webb.
No talk of the devil. What does he want?
I'd like to look at an elephant.
Well, tell him we'll be round this afternoon. I'll go myself. Does that suit you?
Thank you.
Yes. Certainly looks like that same tooth again.
Looks like your injection didn't work, Mr. Webb, eh?
An abscess on the root of a tooth is always difficult to treat medically rather than surgically. You go to your own dentist with one, he'll whip the offending tooth out in no time.
I'm going to try to take a tooth out, are you?
I most certainly am not. I don't even think it's possible with an elephant. Come on, then. I've given her some drugs and a powerful dose of painkillers. If we're lucky, the abscess just might go away.
Trouble with that elephant is she's getting old.
You have to expect her to get more ailments as the years go by, like you and me.
You speak for yourself. Oh, thank you, Julie.
Well, I'll do what I can for her. I know she's one of your favourites.
Well, not mine, she isn't. Costs a damn sight too much to keep. Still, you can't have a zoo these days without a full-grown elephant, can you?
Right. Thank you. You thought of any good stunts yet? All this free publicity you're supposed to be getting.
No, I haven't. Anybody think we're running a circus the way George Bedford goes on? If he had his way, he'd had me in a red coat and a top hat riding that blasted elephant down Deansgate.
And that would be one way of doing it.
Oh, don't you start.
Of course. There are others.
Have you thought of something?
I have had one or two thoughts, yes. It was both a bit of good, perhaps.
Oh.
As a vet, I'm not allowed to advertise, of course, against the rules. But there's nothing to stop me having my name and picture in the papers, in the editorial column.
How would you do that?
Pick a few suitable things we have to do for the animals and get the papers to take photos. Show how well you look after them.
Well, they might do it, I suppose.
Jim Perry is a member of the golf club.
Yes, it's a thought. Make a good human interest story. Or should I say animal interest? Sort of thing we like for the Chronicle.
Of course, the subjects would have to be very carefully chosen. I don't suppose you want any blood, for instance.
Oh, I don't know. So long as it wasn't the animals.
But it's not going to be mine, I promise you. No, what we had in mind, Jim, were the unusual things, like clipping a tiger's claws, say.
Oh?
Yeah, you see, tigers in captivity don't wear their claws down the way they would in the wild, so they keep on growing. And if they're not seen to, they can grow right round and into the paw. And then you've got real trouble.
Can you really clip a tiger's claws?
Yeah.
Sounds a highly dangerous occupation to me.
Oh, no, there's one that's due for a pedicure in a couple of weeks, as a matter of fact.
Well, it certainly sounds like a good picture story. A sort of doctor in the zoo, eh? Pity you're not a bit younger and more glamorous, Morris.
Having second thoughts, are we, Mr. Turner?
Oh, hello, Mr. Rundle. No, just looking at my patient.
Good, good. Oh, this is Miss Blount, the reporter from the Chronicle.
Oh, hello.
Jenny Blount, hi.
I'm Donald Turner.
You're not going in there, are you?
Oh, don't worry. Be all right once I've wrestled him to the ground. As long as the others don't join in.
Don't take any notice of him, Miss Blount. We have a special cage.
Oh, what a shame. I thought I might get a real scoop.
Now, come on, I'll show you.
Well, this contraption here, miss, you see, now, this is what we call a crush cage. Hey, now, as you can see, Tiger Tim's safely in there. At least we hope he is. And this ceiling here, now, this lowers onto him until he becomes completely stuck.
Just like something out of Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, it pushes down on him quite painlessly and ensures that he's completely immobilized.
Can't move a muscle.
Well, are we all set, Mr. Riley?
Oh, I'm all set to be sure. But then I'm not the one who's having his photograph taken. We just have to move the tiger to the pit, sir.
We can't spare the time to hang about here all day, you know.
Oh, it won't take long.
Well, while we're waiting, perhaps I can get a few facts about Mr. Turner. How long you've been doing this, where you're from, all that sort of thing.
Why don't I buy you a cup of tea?
Okay.
We won't be long.
I'll be in my office if you want me. Let me know when you're ready, will you?
Oh, aye, I will, that, sir. Right. All the way. Do you think he'll let on to her it's the first time he's done this?
I shouldn't think so. Why?
I was wondering exactly how much Mr. Webb had really told him.
What do you mean, has he warned him about? Well, we'll just have to wait and see, won't we?
Of course, the zoo is only a small part of the practice. Most of my time is spent on what I regard as real veterinary work. Domestic animals, working horses, farm animals, and so on.
You don't think this is real?
Exotic species? Just a side alley, really. Besides, we don't know enough about them to make it worthwhile.
I should have thought that would be a challenge. Break new ground, push back the frontiers.
Research is for academics. I want to be doing practical things in the real world. How about you?
Oh, I know where I'm going. First woman editor of a national daily.
Not bad for starters.
Well, I certainly don't intend to stick around in the provinces all my life.
Well, I grew up in London, so it doesn't matter so much to me, I suppose. Besides, there aren't many farms in central London. Were you very disappointed when you found out I wasn't going in the enclosure with the beasts?
Oh, what, like a gladiator in Quo Vadis?
Didn't see it. I prefer continental films.
Oh.
That's one thing I do miss about London.
Well, there's a René Clair picture on this week. The Gates of Paris.
Really? Would you like to go with me?
When?
Tonight?
You're a fast worker, aren't you? All right.
Right, you're all in.
My word, you do look smart.
All right, Mr. Riley, let's get it over with.
We all set?
He's all ready for you, Mr. Turner. Did Mr. Webb not warn you, young fella? All cats have terrible trouble with their bladders when they get caught in a tight corner.
I see she didn't mention anything about you know what.
No, thank heavens.
Oh, it's not a bad photo, considering. Well, it's all right to the tiger.
I think she's made a very good job of this story. Donald Turner, assistant to Mr. Morris Webb, the veterinary surgeon who looks after the animals at the zoo, carries out a tricky operation on Raja the Bengal tiger. They're going to be pleased with this.
Oh, so they should be. Did you have a nice time last night?
Apart from the fact that every time I got near her, she said she could smell tiger. Yes, thanks.
I don't know why you want to go traipsing over to the other side of Manchester just to look at some mucky foreign films.
The Gates of Paris is art, Gran.
That's what they always say when they want a woman to take her clothes off. What's she like, this girl?
Very nice.
I don't know. Seems a funny sort of a job for a woman to want to do. Reporting.
She's a very good reporter.
You seen her again, then?
Taking her out on Saturday night.
I'll get your breakfast ready. You'll be late for surgery.
What do you think you're on, then? Have you no creatures of your own to look after? Go on, back to your work, the lot of you.
What is it, Mr. Riley?
Mr. Rundle. It's Mary. The toothache's back again.
Must be in agony.
Aye. The way she's going on, she could have the place down round it.